Alright, baby, I just got home. It's 1 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, September 14th, and there is a Vancouver Canucks game that I wanted to talk about. I did say in the video earlier yesterday, talking about Kevin Lankinen and the updates over there, that I would be out and about Friday night, so I didn't really have immediate access to my computer and my microphone and everything in between to talk about yesterday's, or I guess it was just a few hours ago, tonight's Vancouver Canucks versus Edmonton Oilers Young Stars game. I did watch the game. It was on in my household. I watched the first period. I watched good chunks of the second period. I did miss out on the third, though, and ended up leaving the house. You know, it's a Friday night, right? What else are you going to do on a Friday night? Watch the Canucks Young Stars game? I was doing that for a good chunk of time, but then I inevitably left, went out with the boys, came back, now I'm here. Let's talk about tonight's game, because the Vancouver Canucks absolutely dominated the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm comfortable in saying that based off of what I had watched in the game, as well as what a lot of the Canucks analysts are going out there and saying too. It's a 2-0 win for Vancouver over the Edmonton Oilers prospects, and while you could say, hey, 2-0 is not the best score in the world, why are you saying the Canucks dominated? It's because if you actually watched this game, you saw how the Vancouver Canucks prospects had their way with the Edmonton prospects. You would have seen that this game wasn't close. Edmonton had a few chances here and there, of course they had some possession, but man, was this just Vancouver hockey coming to play. And I'm not going to make it seem like one game decides all. Oh yeah, in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, Jonathan Lekkerimaki and Artyom Baines are going to be amazing NHL players and Matthew Savoy is going to be nothing. I'm not going to come to any long-term conclusions based off of this one game. But if we try to rationalize things and take it a day at a time, just try to see what these games give us the opportunities to talk about, this is where you'll start to get very excited about the Vancouver Canucks and what is to come. This is because when it comes to the prospect tournament, there was a pretty reasonable idea that was floating around. And I had seen Rick Dhaliwal talk about this on Donnie and Dolly, pretty much complaining that the Vancouver Canucks Young Stars roster wasn't really all too loaded up with star power caliber prospects like some of these other teams have been. We had talked about this earlier today, but there were, I think, 12 hockey games today between teams that were prospect teams. A whole bunch of prospect tournaments are going on in the National Hockey League around this time of the year, and for Vancouver's team, you could say that on paper, their prospect pool, their prospect team, it pales in comparison to a bunch of these other teams. So there was kind of a frustration bubbling up there. But once you watched this team play against the Edmonton prospects, oh boy, did a lot of that fear go away. Let's go out there and read Thomas Strance's takes from the Young Stars Game 1. Firstly, Aatu stock? Oh yeah, it's going up. Number 2, Max Sasson can flat out play. Number 3, Artyom Baines could have had a 5-point night. Number 4, Jonathan Lekkerimaki is lethal as a neutral zone puck carrier. He wasn't overly dynamic in the zone, but he was exceptional attacking off the rush. And number 5, Penticton fans bought in. This is kind of a good, I think, read as to what we had seen out of the Canucks in the Young Stars Game 1. Of course, we got to talk about the goals. 2-0, right? So big shutout there for Nikita Tolopilo. He made 21 saves, and he was pretty good. Very sound, very calm, very simple, and he made a few stops on rebounds that I think a lot of Canucks fans were really happy to see. Even though I'd say the Canucks definitely dominated the game, it was still, at the end of the day, a 2-0 game. All it takes is 1 or 2 shots to go in, and that's the entire momentum switched. But the Vancouver Canucks prospects stood tall, and it was off the backs of Nikita Tolopilo and the rest of the D-Corps. Now, going over onto the first goal scored in the game, it was by Max Sasson in the second period. It was a really nice play. It was a 2-on-1 between Sasson and I completely forgot who it was, the other winger that he was with, unfortunately. But it was a 2-on-1 opportunity. Sasson came down the left wing, took a really hard snapshot that deflected off of the goalie's pads right back to him, and Sasson, driving the goal, puts the puck in on the rebound over the goalie's pads and in the back of the net. 1-0 Vancouver, And the second goal that was scored in the third period was done by Christian Felton. Not too sure if any Canucks fans are too familiar with him at this point, but Christian Felton was a Vancouver Canucks signee from earlier this offseason. He's a defenseman who had recently played in the Merrimack College system in the NCAA. We made the one video 5 months ago when he had initially signed with the Canucks, but his goal was pretty awesome too. He's a defenseman, but he ended up having the puck on the rush, driving down the right side into the middle, and then dekes it over onto the backhand to shove it in far side. That was a beautiful goal scored by yet another one of these older guys. Christian Felton is 24 years old. Max Sasson is also 24 years old. So while it is true that some of these guys are on the older side of prospect coverage, you would expect these guys to be able to produce and score, right? And that's kind of the sentiment that we had seen. Not only did the older Canucks prospects do their thing and get points and score goals, but you also had the younger guys playing well too. Ratu looked great. Arshdeep Bains looked great. Jonathan Lekkerimaki had himself a really good night. This is a tweet made by Rick Dollywall, a scout on Lekkerimaki tonight in Penticton. He looks very creative and quick, very smart, great vision, and he looks physically stronger than last year. This was highlighted by an opportunity that Lekkerimaki had in the third period, where he drove down the right wing, took a shot, beautiful sniping opportunity, but it goes off the post and hits the goalie in the back before deflecting away. That would have been an amazing goal there for Jonathan Lekkerimaki to really put himself on the map. And you even have tweets like this from Nux0 talking about how Lekkerimaki clearly had a huge summer. His shot, ability to find soft ice, and his creativity, they're all unmatched. He's gotten much, much stronger. Simply put, the best Canucks prospect since Quinn Hughes. He's closer than we all thought. Maybe a mid-season call-up? And this is where you start to think, okay, sure, Quinn Hughes was an amazing prospect, but you consider the prospects that came after him. You'd have Vasily Podkolzin in 2019, Höglander in 2019. 2020 brought only a few names, same with 2021. Lekkerimaki, Willander. Lekkerimaki's very good. And as a guy primarily noted for his offense, it was awesome to see him really put that team on his back and put himself in a position to continuously get opportunities and shots on goal. If he's able to play with this level of confidence heading into the next few weeks, into the rest of the Canucks tournament, or the Prospects tournament, and then eventually the preseason, who knows what's going to happen with Jonathan Lekkerimaki at that point. But either way, it's 1 a.m. in the morning and I gotta go to bed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks and the Oilers Young Stars tournament game and how the Vancouver Canucks won 2-0. Pretty simple score, but a game that felt a lot more like Canucks domination than a 2-0 score would imply. Thoughts in the comments as to how the Canucks played, thoughts as to how they're going to continue to play as they face off against, I believe it's going to be Winnipeg on Sunday? I'm not entirely sure. Gonna have to double check that. I probably should have already, but thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.